Welcome to our Tuesday live. Here we go. We are live on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram as well. Here we go. And as we do every single day in the past few days, today is day number 6 of our 20 days live stream every single day, streaming all the platforms. So yeah, we'll talk about today we're going to talk about, obviously you can drop your questions, and people who are not able to get the questions answered yesterday, please post the questions today. We'll talk about what's happening today in New Hampshire, the primaries, Trump and Haley, how's that going to impact immigration? And people are asking. This is kind of like the topic of tonight. And of course, I'm going to be answering all your questions on TikTok, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as we do every single night. So welcome. Let me know where you're from, by the way. Drop your name and your location. I'm always curious to see. And thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate you, my friend. Jonathan is working with our team. If you have any questions, Jonathan can also help you guys direct your questions as well. All right. So right now we are, I'm going to share my screen here. You can see what's happening on CNN. First results are coming in, and Trump is leading in the primary, and the presumption is that he is going to come out a winner. And it's like it was kind of expected, obviously, right? So if he's going to be the GOP nominee, what are the chances of what are the chances of Biden getting reelected? What's going to happen if Trump is going to be reelected again? All kind of questions that are, you are asking, you're sending me those questions. People are worried. And we'll talk about it. We'll answer your questions. So make sure you drop your questions in the comments, and I will also allow you guys to join me live. Yesterday, we did Q&A on video with some of you on video. We'll do the same thing later tonight. I'm going to start with YouTube with video questions, and then we'll take some of you are on video on TikTok as well. So let me post the link for anybody who wants to join us live on YouTube. I'll post it right now. That's the one. So use that link to ask me questions. Let's start with our friends on TikTok with some of your questions. And you guys are posting a lot of good questions. Let's see here. Diego is asking, what is the average processing time for PERM application? So PERM application is the first step in the process of sponsoring an employment-based green card. Right now, PERMs are taking about 9 to 10 months. So if you want to get a green card through an employer, you will start the process by finding a labor certification, which is going to be PERM. And then once the PERM is approved, it will move to the immigration for Form I-140, and it's going to go from there. Let me go here. Perfect. So it's taking about 9 to 10 months. Lavish is asking, is it safe to travel to Miami with a Mexican passport with the current new law? Again, you can travel with a foreign passport as long as it's not expired. You're taking your own risk by doing that. It's not always the safest thing to do, but you can do that. By the way, thanks for the likes and the hearts and all that. We have a little goal of the bolt today. Let's see if we can get that one approved. And thanks, all right. When I get some of their likes and the hearts, a lot of questions are coming in. Texas, Nigeria, the Philippines. Lucia is asking, why is USCIS transferring more cases right now, multiple times? The reason why they're transferring cases multiple times is because it's all about staffing. They have different staffing issues. They're moving cases from one region, from one location to another. It doesn't mean there's a problem with your case. It's more about their internal procedures. So it doesn't mean your case, there's an issue with your file. Selena is asking, I need a question. What's your question, Selena? Post in the question. I'm gonna get to as many questions as I can. I'm actually working on a video right now, which I'm going to be posting on TikTok later tonight, probably, yeah. And this is about an immigration attorney that was arrested in New York. And this immigration attorney for the past 10 years was filing fraudulent cases based on VAWA and U visas, right? So he was filing a lot of fraudulent cases based on VAWA and U visas. And not only this immigration attorney will go to prison, but also a lot of the clients that he filed their cases are going to get into trouble. So that's what I'm telling you. Always be careful. If it doesn't feel right, don't jump into it. Don't do things that are not going to be good for you or for your case. Basically, he was convincing people to file I-360s, even though there was no abuse in their relationship, even though there was no abuse from their spouse or their children, convinced them to file essentially fake applications. And so those cases are being investigated. I'll make the video. I'll tell you the story. It's pretty interesting. All right, let's take a few questions here. All right. Yvette is asking, I filed my 21-year-old son since 2019, and the USCIS doesn't approve it yet. Can you tell me why? So there can be many reasons why an I-130 application will be pending at the USCIS. Did they send you a request for evidence? Maybe there's some underlying issues with the case, but normally if there's no issues with the case, currently these cases are taking about, I would say, almost 2 years sometimes, depending on the category of your application. But it's really important for you to follow up with the USCIS office that is working on your case to make sure that everything's good. And if you don't have an attorney, then you definitely need to work with somebody that can actually communicate with USCIS and find out why your case is taking so long. Thank you, Garcia. I'll take a few video calls in 1 second. Let's take Zion first, who has been waiting here. Zion, where are you from? And ask your question.
Hey, I'm from Seattle. So my question is, me and my husband, it's been 2 years since we got married, and he's in military. He's in another state.
Okay.
We're trying to fight for a marriage-based green card for me.
Okay.
But I have class here, and I'm not sure if I need to move over there because all the bases are in small towns, and it's kind of hard to go school to there. I'm in college, so.
Okay, I got it. I'll explain the answer. So basically, you guys living in different states, and you want to
Yes.
know if you can still file the green card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's possible. The USCIS, they don't require people to live at the same household necessarily, as long as you have enough proof to show that it's a legitimate marriage and you're in a good relationship. You shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. You don't have to necessarily live in the same state, as long as you have other proof for the relationship.
Okay, and also, so when we file taxes, so we're not living together, so we cannot file together, and
That's
we're
fine.
filing.
You'll file the way you are, and you will explain the reason why it's happening. But it's fine. The law doesn't
Well,
say
the
you have
problem.
to necessarily live together. What?
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you so much. So again, just to clarify on that, people asking, if you're going to file for the green card, do you have to live with your husband or wife? Of course, ideally you should, but even if you don't live in the same household, you can still file for the green card as long as you have other evidence. People have schooling issues, work. As long as you can explain that, you should be fine. Ikra is asking, I'm a wife of a permanent resident. I have also a green card for 10 years. Can I apply for citizenship after 3 years? You need to apply for after 5 years, not after 3 years. If you're married to a citizen, you can apply after 3 years. Any other person needs to wait 5 years. All right. We have a lot of questions here on TikTok. Thanks so much, Brian. Appreciate it. Nomi is asking, what is the processing time for someone trying to get a green card if married to a U.S. citizen? So the processing time, again, it depends on where you are. So if you are inside the United States, it's taking about 10 months or so average, depending on the different processing center. If you're outside of the United States and you're trying to sponsor a spouse, it's taking over 2 years. Thank you so much, Nina. All right, we've got a lot of questions here. Ahmet is asking an interesting question. I'm 36. My husband is 23. Would it be a problem petition him based on the age difference? We've got a few other age difference questions in the YouTube roster here. I see it. Age difference is not a bar to file a green card, right? So yes, it could be maybe a red flag, and they will ask. First of all, I don't think it's such a big age difference, but any age difference, the USCIS will look and see what other factors you have to show that your case is legitimate, not just the age. Do you know what I mean? So it could be maybe a little bit of a red flag, but as long as you have other things to show that it's a legitimate case, then you should be fine. Let's see here, a question here. I think Joe, we put an I-130 and 45 concurrent, and the I-130 is approved. Do you know how long it should be approved for the 45? So when you file a green card concurrent I-130 45, in most places it's going to take about 10 months, maybe a year. And so if you don't have an interview, probably within that year, they'll send you the green card. If you have an interview, then they'll call you for the interview. And after that, if all goes well, you'll be approved. All right, let's take another video question from YouTube. We have Bobo, who is waiting to ask a question. Let us know where you're from and your question.
Hi, sir. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah. I'm from Massachusetts,
Okay.
and I applied for asylum in 2018,
Okay.
and not until 2023 in January we filed a writ of mandamus.
Okay.
And I was scheduled for an interview, and I was granted asylum in
Okay.
April. I was asking when should I apply for green card, and how long will it take me to get a green card?
Okay. So I answer the question. So typically, once you get asylum, you have to wait 1 year, and then after 1 year, you can apply for your green card. And then after that, it's going to take probably another maybe 18 months or so for the. It depends on the current processing time, but typically you have to wait 1 year after you get approved for your asylum to be able to apply for the green card.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Excellent. Very good. So, for the asylum, people watching asylum, ideally, if you come to the United States, you should apply for asylum within the first year of entry. Of course, there are exceptions to that, but that's kind of like how we do it. All right. We have a lot of 601A questions on TikTok. Benita is asking, my 601A has been transferred 5 times since June, filed in November 2021. Any updates on these? And again, the reason why they're transferring the 601A cases is, again, they're trying to work on adjudicating them as well. There's been a few lawsuits that were filed against the USCIS to try to force them to work on these cases faster. The reason they're moving them is just because they're trying to work on processing them. That's the reason. It's not because there's a problem with your case. Anybody that you get a notice that your case is being transferred, it doesn't mean that there's a problem with your case. It's more about efficiency of USCIS trying to work on these cases and be able to process them faster. Thanks, guys, for the hearts and likes and the bolts. All right. What is the Asha is asking, what is the processing time for K1 visa right now? So right now, K1 visas are almost as slow as marriage cases that are being processed from overseas. So right now, you're looking at about 20, 22 months for K visas. So honestly, in my opinion, if you're gonna go with a fiancé visa, you might as well just get married and file for a marriage case. Emily is asking, can I own an investment property on an O3 visa? Yes, as long as you have a social security number, you have legal status in the United States, you can own a real estate. Even students who are here on a student visa, you can own real estate. There's no issue, especially on an O3 visa. By all means, go ahead, buy a house. Properties are, interest rates are going down. All right, we've got a few more questions here, and then I'll get you Ashburn on video as well. We've got from Robert, our IR1, CR1 interviews scheduled based on the priority date or the DQ date. So the question basically says that when you're waiting for your visa priority date, after you get documented complete at National Visa Center, this person wants to know what is the order that they schedule interviews. So first of all, they go with the order of documented complete, of course, but also if your visa is not current, then obviously they're not going to schedule you. So first it's documented complete, and then they're looking if your priority date is current, and then they're going to schedule you for an interview accordingly. But you not only have to be current, but your visa, your priority, you not only have to be documented complete, but your visa must be current as well. All right. We've got a lot of our TikTok friends asking questions. Abdullah is asking, married to your citizen EAD application taking more than 11 months, what can I do? That's definitely not normal. It shouldn't take that long. What I would do is I would start a series of inquiries. I would start first with a service request. Then I would do an ombudsman's office request. It's a free request where you can file. You can go to the ombudsman's office website and you file a request to check on your case. If this doesn't work, I would also use congressional assistance to see what they can do. The reason I'm telling you to do all these things is that if you do all these things and it still doesn't work, then we can look into potentially a lawsuit after 11 months is not, it's a long time, but it's not, you're not ready for a lawsuit yet. So I would say, make all these inquiries that I just mentioned to you, and then we can see where, depends on the results on that, we can see where we can go. All right, let me take Ashburn, who has a question, and then thanks, Eric, and then we'll go back to our TikTok questions as well. Where are you from, Ashburn, and what's your question?
Hi, sir. Congratulations on your 20-year anniversary.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
And I'm from New Jersey. You guys are doing very well. I read your review.
Thank you so much.
So my spouse, she entered the United States in 2015, and she applied for asylum, and it's been now. And she applied for asylum, and it's been about 10 years now. She hasn't got a decision yet, and she's only having temporary benefits like Social Security and work authorization. And I've checked on her case number. I've been checking for a while now, and it always says decision pending. So why do you think it's taking that long? About 10 years now, and we haven't got a decision yet.
So asylum cases, why is it taking so long? Right now the backlogs are huge. There was actually an article published by independent a research institution that says that the court backlog for asylum and the removal cases is one of the biggest in the past decade. So it could be that it's part of that. I I mean, I would check also periodically to see what's going on. I mean, right now, a lot of these cases are taking about an average of 8 years. 10 years is definitely a long time, but it's not unusual. I mean, I've seen people that have also a 10-year wait on their asylum. So do you have an attorney who's checking on this?
No, we have my spouse has filed this all by herself.
I see. So, I mean, I would, you don't need to have an attorney to inquire, but you can definitely inquire by writing to them to see what's going on. And maybe if you want to even use a congressional assistant, your local congressman in your district, just to get an idea as to why it's taking that long, to be honest.
And also I had one more question. So what do you think if Trump is elected back in office in 2024, what do you think he's going to do with the asylum cases, what are pending already?
So, Trump, if Trump is going to be back in office with the current asylum pending, there's nothing he can do. Any cases that are currently in the system.
Is he going to indefinitely suspend them?
I don't think he's going to suspend them. They're going to have to adjudicate the asylums that are in the system right now. Even he as a president, he cannot do that. He's going to have to, because that's going to create an overload for the courts. So he's going to have to finish the current cases and make decisions on those cases. And at least those, so don't worry about it. Your case will be adjudicated.
And also one last question I have.
There's people waiting, so
okay. Thank
Next
you.
time. I'll be here tomorrow. So
Thank
come back. All right, guys. Another question is people asking about N400. Where was the N400? Here it is. How long are N400 applications are taking right now? So right now, in most jurisdictions, they're taking about 10 months. For example, as I mentioned before, Cleveland, they're taking about 4 months. Florida, they're taking about 10 months. Los Angeles, about 8 months. So it's average, but they are definitely speeding them up. They're speeding them up. All right. We have a lot more questions here on TikTok. Appreciate the hearts, the likes, the bolts. Eve is asking, can my parents find out if they're eligible to get papers if I go to the military before I sign up? Well, they will be eligible because you are, if you're going to go to the military, if they don't have, I mean, I guess you can set up a consultation to find out if they don't have any underlying issues, like, for example, criminal matters or anything like that will stop them. But typically, if you join the military, your parents could get parole in place. There's not even a question about it. BM73 is asking, can I get to the US as a welder on the H2B visa? Does it help to get a green card? So the H2B visa, and I've done videos about it. The H2B visa is it's a temporary visa. It's a seasonal visa for temporary work, and you can only get it for up to 10 months a year, and then you have to go back to your home country. Okay, so H2B visa is not a permanent solution, and normally you cannot get a green card from it. It's more like you can come here up to 3 years, and that's it. Scott is asking, can I apply for citizenship while waiting for removal of conditions? I've been married over 3 years. And I mentioned that yesterday, actually, there was a similar question. Yes, you can, but you're not going to be able to get approved on citizenship until the removal of condition application is adjudicated as well. And some people like to file both because they feel that by filing citizenship, it will expedite the 751 application. It may be true in some cases. If you have a clean case and you have no problems with your case, then I would do that. All right, let's see. We've got a bunch of questions here from YouTube. Let's see. Key is asking, we send a marriage RFE response at the end of November, still silence from USCIS. What should I do? So, again, some of these RFEs are pending. Some of these RFEs are pending even more than 6 months after you respond. Because remember, they're issuing a lot of RFEs right now on marriage cases, on employment green cards. So typical response time for these requests for evidence is about 6 months. So it's not unusual. You're now November, December, January, 3 months. So you kind of like in the middle of it. You may be adjudicated before, but it could be 6 months. So that's why it's taking so long. Dominic is asking, can someone explain when will be my priority date? Form 1989, the PERM, has been filed in May of 2022, and I filed Form I-140 on November. Which one is counting? It should be the PERM. It should state on your I-140 receipt. It should show the approval of your PERM as the priority date on your I-140. Vibeland is asking, I'm a green card holder. What is the best way of bringing a fiance to the US? It seems like K visa is taking at least 2 years. What if my fiance comes as an F1? So obviously green card holders cannot sponsor fiancés, only US citizens. If you want to bring her in a different way, student visa is a great way. If she gets a job like through a work visa, I mean, it's probably a student will be easier. I assume she's young. Okay, let's see. We've got a lot of questions. Tanya is asking, can I get denied the green card if I have bad credit? No, they don't care about your credit so much. Like I said, they just want to know about your credit history in certain ways. There are some forms that are asking about your debt, but just because you have credit issues or bad credit, it's not a reason for them to deny you green card. In fact, at least, Red is asking, how long should you wait before you file for marriage-based green card? I mean, there's not really a wait time. I mean, as soon as you get married, you can really file, the next day. There's no wait time. Olivia and a few people are asking, what can you do if your DACA is still pending in review since October? You can follow up with USCIS on a regular basis. That's pretty much most of what you can do. There must be a reason why it's pending. Make sure you stay proactive and you follow up with them. Lord Joe is asking, can you travel back and forth to Canada with the TN visa? If you have a visa in your document, yes, of course. It's not, you can go back and forth. Absolutely. Absolutely. Emmanuel is asking, what to do if your social security number hasn't come in the mail after 3 weeks? Typically, I would wait 5 to 6 weeks. And if you don't get your social security after 5 to 6 weeks, you can follow up both with USCIS and the Social Security Administration. All right. We've got a lot of questions here on YouTube. I got my work permit and travel permit through VAWA. Now I'm about to get divorced. How will this affect my case? Well, I mean, like I said, if your case is not based on the marriage, I mean, like I said, if you file VAWA, I would imagine that you filed your VAWA based on problems in your marriage. So that divorce itself shouldn't have an impact on your current petition. Let me see here. We have a lot of citizenship questions. Angela is asking, I'm from Peru. My I-485 was closed, administratively closed, because I'm in removal proceedings. My question is, am I going to be able to renew my EAD? If your case was closed, if your case is closed at USCIS, then you're not going to be able to renew your EAD. You probably will have to do it through court. So I assume you have an attorney who's representing you in court, so you may want to talk to him about it. But 45, if your 45 was closed, the EAD and all the benefits that are connected to it will be lost as well. Okay. All right, we got a lot of people joining right now, also on TikTok and on YouTube. So anybody who's joining right now, somehow there's an influx of people that are coming for both Let me know where you're from. We're getting a lot of hearts and likes. Don't forget we have the challenge here, the Bolt Challenge. So Joey's asking, can you represent clients in all 50 states and how to get a hold of you? And I mentioned it thanks Diddy, appreciate it, Sergio. So all platform, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, you can use the link in my bio or send me a DM. And our DMs are open. We're accepting questions and requests for consultations. And for our YouTube viewers and all Facebook who are watching right now, you have a number right here, 619-483-4549. Just use that to contact and mention that you were on the live to get your opportunity to speak with me or any of my team members. Is it okay to switch from a TN visa to a family sponsored? Yes. So you can switch from a TN to a green card as long as you're in legal status. There's no issues with that. Let's see here. Here it is. Can green card based marriage 45, almost 2 years in June, is that a normal wait time? So again, as I mentioned to you before, adjustment of status cases, they have like an average processing time, right? Let's say about 10, 11 months. And then there are some people that are stuck in limbo for whatever reason. I'm going to need more information. Did you guys have an interview? Did they send you a request for evidence? Anything like that can delay your case even further. Do you know what I mean? But if you had no communication from them and you filed your case 2 years ago and you heard nothing from them, then 2 years is a long time. But if during those 2 years they send you a request for evidence, they ask you for something, then it's not unusual. Question: can someone who is undocumented travel from Chicago to Las Vegas without any issues? So I mentioned that before. If you guys want to travel in the United States and you don't have paperwork or you overstayed, as long as you have a valid foreign document like a passport, you can travel. Again, you should travel. You can travel at your own risk, obviously, but until the real ID is going to come into law, you are able to travel that way. Aging process for sibling. I assume you're talking about the Child Status Protection Act. The question is how to prevent a sibling from aging out. Well, there's a formula under the Child Status Protection Act that we follow when we file those green card cases, and we notify the government if somebody's going to age out. And this way we're able to save their green cards. We have another person on video on our YouTube chat that wants to speak. And that person is Ray. Ray, let us know where you're from and ask one question. Can you hear me, Ray? All right. Ray is gone. Let's see. We have a lot of questions on YouTube as well. All right. I had a summon for assault and battery, but the court found me not guilty. Do I need to put this on N400 and what section? So any criminal interaction that you have, even the most minor, you have to disclose it on the N400. There's a section there that specifically asks you, were you ever arrested, any convictions, any crime? You have to disclose. If you don't disclose things like that on your N400 application, then that will be considered to be fraud, misrepresentation, and that could be a reason by itself, the fact that you didn't disclose, for them to deny your citizenship, because they're going to say it's lack of moral character. Also, we have a question here. Somebody's asking about claim of U.S. citizenship on application for citizenship, claim to be a citizen when you're not, on a work I-9 form. And again, I mentioned that yesterday. If you claim to be a U.S. citizen whether you vote without your intention or on an I-9 form when you apply for a job, it could be a problem for your citizenship. And there's a certain way to address it because there is no waiver for a claim for U.S. citizenship. And so it's important to be aware of that. Okay. Let's see here. User 458, I lost my passport. Can I still apply? Let me see. Can I still apply for a green card? I have a copy of the original passport, F1 visa. Yeah, absolutely. Even if you don't have a physical passport, you can still apply for adjustment of status from inside the United States as long as you have copies of your passport and proof that you entered the United States legally. That's all they need. So that's fine. Miranda is asking, if our immigration lawyer disappeared years ago, does that mean our application are lost? You know, I've seen those questions come up often where attorneys, they literally disappear on their clients. They move offices, they close their practices, God forbid they pass away. The fact that your lawyer is gone doesn't mean that your case is gone, right? So if this lawyer filed your application properly, then it should still be in the system. It should still be with the USCIS, and your case should still be good. And you can find some other attorney to help you with your case. But it doesn't mean that just because your lawyer disappeared, your case is gone too. Let's see here. Is there a page, I guess, on the U.S. Embassy website where you can check if you've been scheduled for an appointment? Unfortunately, there isn't. You're going to know that you're scheduled for an appointment once they email you, and then that's the only way you're going to know that you're scheduled for an appointment. But that's the only way. All right. Aman is asking, can you tell me about the F2A category? My husband is green card holder. My priority date is December 2022 and no approval yet. I'm from Morocco. So I actually made a YouTube video about this. It's coming out next week. So F2A category, spouses of green card holders, children under 21. Right now, the priority date is stuck in 2020. There's a big backlog. So if you are 2022, like you are, you still have at least 2 years wait, if not longer. And hopefully they'll be able to do something with this backlog after summer of 2024. But right now, all you can do is literally just wait. All right. So for our YouTube viewers, let's see here. Got another question here. Thomas is asking, my wife and I are together for 20 years. We have 3 kids. There was a mix-up paperwork. I got a 10-year bar. It's coming in one month at this point. I want her back. What's the fastest way we can do it? Again, so if you have a 10-year bar and you're coming to the end of your 10-year bar, you can obviously prepare your application, whatever the visa you're eligible for, and you can try to apply for it. It doesn't mean that you're going to be approved 100%, but at least you have the option to tell them that they'll be able to at least help you with that. And you might not even need a waiver because you're gonna satisfy the 10 years of your bar overseas. All right, so for our YouTube viewers, we're gonna conclude the live stream right now. TikTok, we still have a few more questions to answer, so I'll be back in a sec. But for our YouTube viewers, Facebook group and Facebook, we'll be back tomorrow at the same time, 5 p.m., answering your questions live for the next 20 days, celebrating our 20-year anniversary of the firm, every single day live, 20 days live challenge. So once again, if you need to get a hold of me, this is the text number you're going to text. And specifically for you guys on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram that came live today with me. Thanks for watching here. And I'll see you tomorrow again, 5 p.m., same time. Ask questions if I didn't get to you today.